Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Sorry I haven't put anything up for some time now. I've just had an extremely busy few weeks and so I've just been busy. I am sorry. I will try and keep posting videos. Today I'm going to speak to you regarding pain and how pain affects us and how it's possible for us to be actually addicted to pain. And I'm talking about emotional pain, not physical pain. Now, I've been, in somehow, I will say I've been addicted to pain. And I'll tell you when I realized this about 6, 7 months ago, where I was doing some voluntary work with people who are affected by substance misuse. Okay, so either alcohol or drugs. And so I sat in something called, I think it was basically, they have these group meetings where they give them plans about rehab and all of that stuff. So people come in and they talk about their situation and what it is that's affecting them. So what happened is one of the ladies there, she sat down and she was talking about her experience and the everything that she went through and that she's going through. And I've never ever felt so connected to someone in the whole of my life. I remember going upstairs back to reception after the meeting. It was an hour's meeting. And I said to my work colleague there at reception, and I said, I feel like I've been an addict my whole life, but without the drugs or alcohol, without the substance. But it was almost like I was speaking as she was speaking. I mean, all I really wanted to do was give the lady a hug and say to her, you know what, everything will be okay and it's okay for you to feel like that. Most of the time, I think we kill ourselves because we feel the way we're feeling is not right and we're not entitled to feel like that. And why are we feeling like this? And we punish ourselves so much for feeling pain because we feel, everything around us, people around us, everybody tells us, oh, stop being so sensitive, or stop, being like this or being like that, or snap out of it, or so many things. And what they don't understand is that when you're an emotional person, you can't just step out of it. You can't just see the world the way everybody else does. And little things does affect you. And that's the thing. And I suppose for people like us, it's not trying to make them understand, because some people will never understand. It's more about us understanding ourselves. Once you understand yourself better, you can deal with everything better. And that's what I learned about myself. And in the last 2 weeks, I've discovered something amazing. I've been doing research into spirituality and science. And that's where I found my answers. And they talk about, in terms of science, okay, and this is proven, by the way, okay? So obviously, I've already told you there's two sides of us, which I figured out quite a while back. That there's an emotional side and there's a psychological side. And when they both don't communicate together properly and don't agree with each other, that's when you end up with a chemical imbalance, a hormonal imbalance, a chemical imbalance, and then depression and so on. So what that means is basically, let's say our mind gets conditioned with knowledge, with TVs, with ideas, and with everything that we see around us, yeah? Our mind records it subconsciously, everything. And I think, never mind about that actually, because there was something really important about, I think we take 400 something information in, but we only use either 40%, I think 40% of it. So, the equivalent is like, the difference is just unbelievably huge. So anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, so basically you have the psychological side that take information in, and then you have the emotional side, which by the way is the body. The body is the emotional side. And I realized this last week when I've experienced some kind of pain, and I realized I've got to detach myself, and my body was actually withdrawing from it. And that's like withdrawing. Withdrawal is obviously when you're taking drugs, it's different. you get the physical shaking and everything, but when my body was emotionally withdrawing from this particular incident, and I was like, wow. And so I looked into this, and it was almost like my depression was coming back. So the darkness of my eyes, everything just went and black. And I hadn't experienced this in this whole year. I haven't had that feeling. I've been, thank God I've been so well for this whole year. Since December, when I made that conscious choice to not let anything affect me, that was the first time I felt like that. I felt like my depression was coming back. And so I looked into this and I started studying it, and I realized that we can change the habit of our body. So basically, let me tell you how you get addicted to pain, okay? So I'll use myself as an example because it's the best thing. I can only, I can describe things better in that way. So, example, when my mother got shot as a baby, okay, it not only psychologically traumatized me, it physically shook me, like gave a shock to me biologically, okay? So what happens is, as I was getting passed around as a baby, not only psychologically was I getting traumatized, okay, I was also, because psychologically, the mind kept on sending the chemicals to the body to cry because the mind's not liking it. The hormones were also changing, so I was constantly crying. And that's why I've been addicted to crying. I know I've cried until the age of 11, and even now I cry so much, it's ridiculous. I cry almost every day, even now, but I call them tears of happiness, or, gratitude, which is better than crying because of sadness. Or maybe I've just learned to see it in a different way. I've changed the way I look at things. So what happens is, okay, so that happens and your body gets used to it. So then what happens is you start attracting painful situations without knowing, okay? So you end up being friends with people who are more or less fortunate, or that remind you of yourself, and you find it difficult to be in a positive environment because it's unknown to you, not only psychologically, it's unknown to you biologically. And it is easier for us to change our mind and retrain our mind than it is to reprogram our body, okay? So if you want to change yourself, you've not only got to reprogram your mind, you've got to reprogram your body, okay? And how you do that is by, first of all, acknowledging it, okay? First of all, you need to retrain your mind, okay? And that's by studying. Study as much as you can on self-development, okay? Study on a science base, on a psychological base, on a biological base. Study on every level. Come on, the internet is full of stuff. Just type in self-development, okay? And so once your mind gets trained up, and this is what happened to me, okay? I trained my mind because I did a counseling course, interpersonal course. So my mind got trained of being in a positive situation, looking at things positively and so on. And it was one of the best things I did. But what happened was I was still addicted to pain, okay? So although the mind knew, the body was still behaving the way it normally does. So even though I was being positive, I would still feel guilty for being positive, for not, feeling or being with the negative situation, or not being more empathetic and whatever, because my body would be more comfortable in that situation. So then the body sends out hormonal signals to the mind. I don't like this, okay? And then the mind is like, the mind knows better and is like, well, no, I don't like what you like, so I'm not going there. And that's when you have a chemical and a hormonal imbalance, okay? So the mind saying one thing, the body saying something else, okay? And that's when slowly depression starts to come in. And so what you do to get rid of it is, it's a long process. It's not an overnight thing, by the way, okay? And it takes years. It takes years to reprogram yourself, but you have to be consistent, okay? So you reprogram the mind by educating it. You reprogram the body, okay, by meditation, prayer, and being in stillness. I cannot express and explain how important it is to meditate, how important it is to let your body feel what it wants to feel and acknowledge the pain. Acknowledge it, so then the mind and the body start communicating together. Okay, the mind says to the body, I know you're feeling this pain and I understand why you're feeling it and I acknowledge it. It is so important for that to happen, for you to get that chemicals working together again and not against each other. Okay? And as time goes by and the more you meditate, the more you become and the more you go in within yourself, the more you have more self-realization about yourself, about your body, about what hurts you, about what annoys you, irritates you, and about why you feel the way you feel. You are able to let it go. Let each specific individual situation go. And when you've let it go, not only have you let it go psychologically, you've let it go physically. Okay? And slowly, you need to also introduce new habits to your body. I do this by going to the gym. I've said to myself, I'm going to get to a level of fitness where I am going to run the 10K. And I go to the gym and I run so much, you don't even understand. Everybody at the gym is like, my God, I train to run in the marathon. But I psychologically said that to myself, that this is what I want to do. I want to do a 10K run within an hour, not on the treadmill, okay, outside. And it's easier. I'm doing this now with a half an hour break. So I do 5K in half an hour and then I can do another 5K. But, okay, doing it on a treadmill is easier than doing it outside. So this is what I mean about retraining the body. So the body still wants to feel crying and sluggish and all that, all that stuff where it doesn't want to do anything. You've got to push yourself. You've got to push yourself and do it knowingly that you are doing it to retrain your body. To retrain your body to think and behave differently. Your hormones need to change. Your hormones need to go back to the way it was before you messed your body up, okay? Especially people with polycystic ovaries. I cannot express how much you need to retrain your body. Okay, reprogram your body. People, they get a diagnosis and you know what? They use that as an excuse. I wouldn't say excuse, but they use it to justify it to themselves. Oh, I've got PCOS. It's genetic. I'm not going to lose weight. So I'm just going to sit here and get fat. Okay, I'm going to have this. I'm not going to lose weight anyway. So I'm going to have this extra cake. I'm going to have this extra this and extra that. No, okay. Do not use a diagnosis as your excuse to become your illness. Don't, okay. Fight it. Fight whatever the doctors say. Fight your own body. You can do it, okay? Hell, if I can do it, you can do it, okay? And do it for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. Do it for yourself. Do it for your own health. Because the only person that's going to be around for you is you. It's only going to be you. Remember that. The only person, you're now at 35, and I'm talking to all the ladies out there, 35, 40, whatever your age is, yeah? You can probably be a certain weight and be okay with it. But as you get older and older, what are you going to do? So many other things come in. And I see all these videos promoting big women and all this stuff, people who are really overweight. And I was at the gym today and I thought, there they are doing all this, promoting, people being big. What about the health? What about being healthy? How are these women going to cope when they're much older? So, it's the individual's choice. It's up to the individual how they want to live it, I'm not here to promote anything. I'm only sharing what I experienced and what I'm going through. And if that inspires someone, fantastic. Okay, and I hope I haven't offended anybody. I love you all. Not my intention. Just want to motivate people to go out there and become the best version of them, not only externally, but also internally, also psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, on every level. Okay. Anyway, I love you all, loads, and have a wonderful evening. Take care and speak to you soon. Mwah.